another episode on set today.
On location.
On location.
Like we're in a film.
A lot of you all, when the camera hits this guy, you're going to know specifically who he is.
Yes, sir.
This is The Den of Thinking Men, shot by the illustrious CaliiVision.
The great
All
CaliiVision.
episodes available at The Den of Thinking Men.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. You like the content, you got to subscribe. Yeah. So, we got a lot of ground to cover today. Lots. But for those of you who don't know, this gentleman right here has created jackets for everybody. So we'll just go down the list very quickly before we hop into it. Nelson Mandela.
Ooh.
We should just stop right there.
How about we can stop right there?
Muhammad Ali. Michael Jordan. We should stop right there.
Listen.
Magic Johnson. George Michael.
Kobe
I gotta
Bryant.
have faith.
Kobe.
Kobe Bryant, Mike Tyson, Madonna, Dice Clay, Jack Harlow. Everyone.
We're next.
So that being said, we want to welcome Jeff Hamilton to the Den of Thinking Men. We're
Welcome.
in his den. How are you,
Welcome, sir?
Honored to be with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
For having us.
So we start every episode by asking, how is your mental? How are you feeling mentally?
I'm happier than I've ever been.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just, it's like at my age, just to know that I can wake up every morning and just come here and do the things I want to do and be creative and loving the moment. And, it's just like things shift as you get old and you go through the ups and the downs and the light and the darkness that you just want to, you understand that what are your priorities in life? It's just,
Exactly.
Is it money? My whole life when I was a kid, all I cared was about money.
Right.
You buy something for $1, sell for $2, you're a happy man.
Right.
And then after a while, you realize that this is not what really drives you.
Yeah.
That, you want to make enough money to pay your bills and to take care of your family, take care of your friends, and maybe be able to have a decent quality of life.
Sure.
But, don't need to fly private jets.
Right.
It's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I
Right.
mean, it's beautiful if you can afford it. But the idea is just the real blessing is that you determine what the universe or God has given you as a gift, and what blessing you have for you to be able to come in every morning with the desire of working and feeling healthy and being happy, able to create and keep on pushing the culture, and if you're lucky, and it could be pretentious, but it's also very humbling, is that you could leave behind a legacy.
How about that?
That's
because
important.
That's critical.
The thing about legacy is pretentious to think that you might even be in a club that you can have a legacy.
That's right.
But it's also humbling because you're not going to be here to see it. So,
Right. The
so
children
whenever-
will.
Yeah.
The children,
Their
the
children.
people, the culture,
culture.
whatever it is. It's just, so for me, those moments, those iconic moments that I've been so blessed to be part of it, and I don't take no credit for anything. It's just like the way the universe blessed me with all those beautiful things,
You got to take credit because I'm about to ask you a litany of incredible questions. So, anybody who knows your story knows you're from Morocco. Then you end up in France. Then you end up in Los Angeles. You got 2 children. You're out in Los Angeles. How did you end up at Guess, and how did you end up as the person that they trusted to say, okay, you don't have any design experience, no design background, but you can take this and become the designer of all Guess men's?
And I started basically jobbing, buying and selling and hustling through the street of here, downtown Los Angeles.
Right.
From a jobber to a jobber, buying something for $1, selling it for $1.50, $1.10, whatever it was, just to try to put food on the table for my family. And then one thing led to the other, and I've spoken often about it, and I just basically met one of the Marcianos, and he was in my building, and we kind of hit up a friendship. And they had not even started Guess Jeans, so they were doing another brand which was called like a woman's line. And once I started Guess Jeans, I kind of was not happy with what I was doing as far as buying and selling and jobbing,
Right.
and that I felt like I came to them, and the advantage that I have for some reason in France is I knew the concept of licensing. Licensing in the 80s nobody knew what licensing was in America. I mean, you had heard about
That's true. Yeah.
Bill Blass or maybe Pierre Cardin
Or Halston. or any of-
Halston,
yeah, yeah,
Right.
you know, like
But you weren't really
things like
familiar.
that, you know, like what's the name? But just like I said, you know, like Pierre Cardin, some of the brands like that. But really, there was no, mostly for perfume or for menswear.
Very
but it
true.
was not like a real licensing concept. And then basically, I approached them, and they wanted me to work for them. And I said, you know, I'm my 20s, 24,
Yeah, yeah,
25.
young
I
guy.
said, you know, I just want to take a run on my own. So I basically was the first licensee of Guess jeans. And at the time, I got all the menswear.
So they were not. They had not created a successful women's line yet. They hadn't
No,
done
they
that
had
yet.
the women's line was I had taken off already.
So it already taken. So that means that the men's side was coveted. So you just pretty much through the grace that you have, you were able to pretty much make them feel comfortable, and they were like, you know what, we're going to bequeath this to you. Pretty much.
So what happened is they owned a few retail stores. So they need to create some denim just for their stores because they used to buy some of the European brands, and basically that line kind of took off. And Bloomingdale's and Saks basically started carrying the line. But the company was a small company. It was
Sure.
like maybe a $2 million company at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had kind of started the men's for like a month, but I think the error and you know it's everything is trial and error.
Right. Right.
They tried to duplicate exactly what the women's line was and making it to a men's line.
Can't do
Right.
that.
You know,
Right.
obviously the success of Guess was the jean with the zipper on the side.
Right.
You know, at the time maybe the men's didn't understand that. You know, so there was a couple of different vests and different things that were not conducive to a menswear company. Even though, I mean, in the menswear there was nothing. I mean, that's kind of like one of the advantages that we had because what you had, you wore Levi's and
That was it.
You didn't wear the Jordache. You didn't
You
wear
were
Sassoon.
Gloria Vanderbilt, but they were too tight. They weren't
Right.
really. They weren't even masculine jeans, really.
Exactly.
No
so you wear
offense.
Levi's or Lee or Wrangler
Right.
or whatever it is, and some of those brands that were like, you know, Miller's Outpost and all that stuff. You know,
Right.
so it was-
Oh, Miller's Outpost.
and so basically, I kind of convinced him in a way that I wanted to take the men's license because, and you know, it was some kind of a negotiation back and forth, and you know, fortunately enough, and I was able to close the deal and
Yeah.
And you're on. And you're on.
completely 100% owning the company.
So,
Yep.
This is what I'm very. There's so much history of Guess, specifically in so much history of Guess in Pasadena and Los Angeles.
Right.
And the surround. I mean, like this is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So what I want to know was, in terms of like, you creating the DNA of what the men's department was going to look like of Guess. What were the brands that you were looking at, or what was
were
the
you?
yardstick,
You
or
know,
were you?
You know, the DNA of Guess was created by them. So that basically they
No. The men's.
But they created basically the footprint of whatever was going to be. Myself was only my interpretation of what they were doing it and tried to expand into a men's line. So myself, I was not a designer. So I kind of had somebody that came in tried to help me out design.
Right.
I didn't like what they were doing. Those
Right.
people turned out to become very successful later on, you know, in
Right.
years later. But basically, I didn't like. But one thing that I had, I think, at the time was that I felt like I had good taste. I always dressed kind of nice. And so I went through my closet and looked at certain things. I said, you know, I like that detail. I like these.
Right.
I always loved leather for some reason. I don't know why.
Right.
But I was attracted to leather.
Right.
And I just basically started mixing up leather with fabric. I started washing it. I started taking the denims and reversing it on the other side.
Wow.
I started over dyeing the denims in various colors. And then, you know, and I was feeding off the women's line. I was feeding off my men's line. But also, as I started traveling to Paris because, you know, obviously I still had family there. I would go to stores. I would see styles that I liked. I would just go and get inspired.
That's
you
what
know,
I
of
need
course.
to know.
mean,
Right.
You know, I cannot name you a brand, but there is always inspiration. You know, like as of today, I mean, there is inspiration. I mean, I can look at a car and I see a detail on a car that I want to incorporate in my one of my jackets.
Right.
One of my design. Creativity is not about black and white. It's just all that inspire you. You can listen to a song that can inspire to create something. And when I say inspire, it's like it's very romantic when you know you being a designer and me being a designer that people to think that we are in the middle. We have like a pencil in the middle and we start sketching. You know, I hate to say it, it's not very romantic, but
Correct.
you know, we become machines, you know, so in a way, like, but in a good sense, you know, we know what we want, you know, after me designing for over 40 years, basically over 40 years, I feel like, you know, we're a machine. If I need to design 10 jackets today, I'm just
Right.
going to
Knock it out.
I'm knocked it out, you know. So,
Right.
so I basically became a designer by necessity for my own company. I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, a businessman, and I still do the accounting. I still do the management of my
Wow.
company. I still do the production and everything. I mean, still have a lot of
Therapeutic.
Therapeutic.
therapeutic
yeah.
to still do accounting. You know,
Right.
it just opens my mind and just do certain things. So that's kind of where it happened. And basically the line, you know, I started in January 1983 with $22,000. Like by January 1984, I was shipping 600 grand a month. By
Wow.
January 1985, I was shipping $5 million, $47,000 a month. That was just like, and it was kind of like
Yeah.
a roller coaster without having it. You know, again, I mean, there was no experience of production. There was no experience of designing. You know, it's just kind of like
It just all happened perfectly.
You know what? And
all blessing and trying to take it.
the magic, you know, Boss talks about, you know, we're both natives of Los Angeles, Pasadena, Los Angeles, but I remember the energy at the Cooper building like it was yesterday. And I was probably like in middle school, high school.
1984. Yeah.
1984. Fifth floor, I know floor it was, but my sister would take me down there. We'd go shopping, and she'd buy everything. And I just remember the lines. It's like you're trying to get into a nightclub
Right.
to get in that place.
Right.
So those years you were there, 83 to 86, I think, the pinnacle of the magic of that movement.
Right.
You know, we were talking recently about the making of the Michael Jackson Thriller album. And when you're removed from it some 40 years, you realize the magic that it took to create that in a really organic way. And I'd argue that when you were there, that was their Thriller moment, right?
Absolutely.
The magic of that.
Absolutely.
They haven't been able to recapture that, but that was an incredible time.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I'm very flattered that you say that, but I think, listen, you know, there's no secret that I don't get along with the guest people. We've had major battles between each other and all that stuff.
It happens, bro.
It happens, man.
But you know, you have to give them credit. I mean, those guys are geniuses, whatever they accomplish.
Yeah.
And for them to open thousands of stores over the world and taking that brand and taking it to a household brand, and it's pretty amazing what it's done. And then there is no, you know, each moment had a moment. Obviously, the creation moment that when we were doing it, I was doing well, but they were doing as well.
Yeah.
You know, in the women's side, it's not like just a man
No.
leading the charge. I mean, I was doing my business. They were doing their stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like really a great moment at the time. And you know, obviously, you know, because of our tainted relationship, you know, I always thought that like how iconic would be that to relaunch in 2004 Guess capsule collection by Jeff Hamilton.
That'd be incredible.
And
that was one of my questions.
Yeah.
But you know, we there's so much bad blood between us that, you know, for me, I'm over all this. I don't live in the past. I don't live. You know, for me, I'm enjoying the moment and enjoy the present. And you know, like when something is out of my life, I wish the people. I don't care. My biggest enemies.
One piece. One piece.
I just really they could make billions of dollars. It's okay with me. I'm not 1 ounce of jealousy. I'm happy for them, and I also can appreciate, you know, the good work. I mean, I don't appreciate the negative part of that, but I can appreciate all the talent and the good work that has been done. So it's not like, for me, it's not about you know, doing things. So, but like I said, you know, I'm blessed at this stage of my life. You know, I'm 68 years old. I'm still living the dream. Right?
You're looking good, man. I love that.
Well, I'll say this last part about guessing, and we'll move on because there's such a big career that you've crafted for yourself. But what was interesting, he talked about the Cooper building, specifically the men's stuff that you were creating. Whether it was Pasadena High School, John Muir, La Cañada, Palisades, Crossroads, St. Bernard's, Westchester. These are broad swaths of different communities.
Right.
some PWI, some very well integrated schools. Every single school at that time,
Right.
we all wore guests. It didn't matter if you were white,
It was
black,
uniform.
Persian,
Latino.
So that takes a certain amount of genius to do. And that's what I've heard interviews that you've done, but I've never heard you tap into like how you managed to guide the brand to do that from the men's side.
I think it's some kind of gift, you know, like and I'm not. I always refer to blessings because I just never want to take credit
Right.
myself to the things that I've done, uh, because it's just like, you know, take a person like Kim Kardashian, you know, which is, you know, a lot of people made fun of the Kardashian and this and that, but you know, you have to show them nothing but admiration
Oh my
when you're able to
Yeah.
create anything that you create, and
it goes.
It goes
can-
gold.
and you can say a word that it resonates to as many people as you can do it. That's a gift.
Sure.
You
Yes,
know,
it is.
You know, it's like
Correct.
for me, I have such a big platform through Instagram. You know, I mean, even when I was not working, as I told you, I retired from 2004 to 2020.
Wow.
You know, I was not doing anything. I mean, I was doing deals here and there, art, this, that, but I was not in the clothing business. And but I still had 1.5 million people following me, and I just never understood that. I never understood why I had that,
right.
because I would post only old pictures and all content.
Right.
But people related to that stuff. So it's like, you know, there is something about the work that I've done, because obviously when I design something like you do, you know, you wear your stuff, you know, and you wear it well.
Yeah, he does.
You know?
Yes, he does.
So you wear your stuff, you know, you have a certain feeling of that makes you happy. Like when I put my jacket on,
Right.
I feel like I'm like 2 feet taller than I'm only 3 feet tall, but I look like I'm 6'2", right? But
Next to
you know,
this guy.
so you put it on, and you get that image that you put in, you know,
Right.
that you create that feeling. And I think like the passion and the love that you do in creating it, the ultimate consumer can feel that vibration of it,
Right.
and then it carries. It just spreads to them.
Yeah.
That
Right.
when somebody takes one of my jackets and put them on, suddenly they buy themselves a personality.
Right,
It's like,
right.
listen, you know, when you wear a Rolex, you know, I mean, it's not like a, it's just as good as an iWatch, or as not, for sure not as good as an iWatch or your iPhone. But you know, you feel
The mental
special.
value you
Yeah.
put
It's
into
not-
it.
You know, a lot of people think that you do everything for flex and for other people. You really do it for yourself.
Right.
You know,
should be.
Because it starts with you.
Yeah.
You do. It makes you feel good.
How do you feel?
You want to look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and just feel good about yourself. It's not like from an ego type of stuff, you know. But it's like me. I'm wearing my glasses, you know. And, yeah, it makes me feel good. It's
Yeah.
just not like not like you might call it a filter, whatever you want to call it, but it is. But like the same way a woman will dye her hair, or will put makeup, or will put earrings, or carry a nice handbag. So it doesn't mean that the person is not genuine. It's just the way you want the people to look at you the way you love to look at yourself.
Right.
sure.
Well, I mean, the reason why I hold you in such high regard is
Yeah.
because, you know, me growing up, like seeing you pretty much created the uniform that the flyest dudes in my era wore to get the most finest women cracking in Pasadena, California.
And that was my point about the Thriller reference. And I
That's
love
what was
I
so
love the
amazing.
humility, because to your point, I think it takes a team. Hell, even Michael and Quincy had beef at the end. It happens, right?
Right.
But the magic of that time when we were young kids growing up as black men or black boys at the time, to see that be part of the uniform and the style that allowed us to have the confidence to talk to those girls you're talking to.
That's what I'm saying. You
it was
created that for
special.
us.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And
Yeah.
I didn't do it consciously, so I mean,
But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, though. Organic.
It was not a plan.
Absolutely.
Everything just organically happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm very flattered to know that, you know, anytime I'm, you know, when a kid comes to this, you know, I can be in an airport or anything, and somebody comes to me and they say, you know, thank you so much for what you've contributed to the culture. So
Yeah.
for me, I mean, it's not like, oh, can I take a picture? I don't look at it as an ego stuff. I say they don't realize that if they think I'm making them happy, they don't know how much happier they
That's
get
right.
with me.
How about that?
Wow.
And,
wow, 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 wow.
because
Yeah.
it's kind of a validation of that you put love and effort and work in everything that you do,
Yeah.
and people recognize that work. It's
Sure.
just, and they recognize, usually the recognition is quantified with dollars. But like I said, at this stage for me, the quantification is just like if people are getting love and appreciation, that's for me the biggest reward.
That's incredible.
So how did you feel about all of the brands that sprung up based on the success? The Jabos, the Used. You remember gasoline jeans?
All due respect, was before Guess Jeans.
Okay.
Yeah, but
But in Europe,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
an amazing brand, and still is. And right now they just like resurging as well, and it's a beautiful brand. And I'm, I know Francois Girbeau very well, and so I don't know if, I mean, like, God bless all the brands. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
you remember, like, one of the biggest brands that basically took our brand and just went out and was Jimmy Cavaricci. You remember?
I remember Z Cavaricci.
Yeah. Big time.
Z
Big time.
Cavaricci, big time.
Cavaricci
Yeah.
was huge. I mean, like, I don't know, a few $100 million.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But they basically took one of my pants that I made
I remember those.
and like the high waisted band.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I don't have a problem. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm flattered. If my DNA was somewhere there, somewhere, I'm good with it. It's just not, like I said, you always want to cash in and you want to just see, and I was so much more consumed with want to eat the whole pie. I don't care anymore. I just really want to be, I want to be the best that I can be, and I want to be at the highest level of creativity that I can right now. I feel like I'm still coming out with best jackets, in my
No,
eyes,
they're beautiful, right?
And everything that we're coming out right now, the amazing collaborations that we're doing, where we've done Supreme, and we're doing Pharrell and Billionaires Boys Club and OVO, and right now we're doing Casablanca, as I mentioned, to you in Paris, and so we know that I'm always keep on pushing the limit and raising the bar, always, and try to make sure that we are always. It's very hard to be the leader in everything that you do, but there is a lot of super talented designers out there, and sooner or later somebody will take it. But we have the good thing about it for us, and the advantage that I've been doing it for 40 years, and by default, anytime you see a funky jacket and a crazy beautiful jacket, even though it's not designed by me,
Your DNA is there.
I'll get the credit.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So,
It happens.
So my question to you is, you leave Guess. Now it's time for you to really set up Jeff Hamilton.
right.
How did you decide the jacket is going to be my thing? Not denim, not overalls, but not a trench coat, but a stadium jacket.
And
How did
sports.
you land
And
there?
how the sports connection.
Right.
Again, this came as kind of like an accident. I really wanted to go back directly, and so the natural evolution for me was that when I finished Guess, I wanted to use. I was looking for a name, a branding name, and I said, people know me under Jeff Hamilton already because that's my corporate name, and even though it's not my legal name, so let me use my name because I want to be the face of my brand.
Sure.
I mean, I'm passionate about doing it, so I really wanted to do a whole lifestyle brand. So I created a whole lifestyle brand. But but again, I was probably pretentious in 1986, and I was an egomaniac. I mean, I said that all the credit came to me.
Right.
I deserve all the credit,
Right.
or everything I did. I mean, like I really realized that very quickly through the failures that we're nothing. We're just only channels of good blessings, so pompous and pretentious and long hair and the earrings and the whole thing, and it was just basically riding Harleys.
Wow.
With, just like with bling with Billy
Man,
Idol.
you was out here, bro.
Exactly.
You was living your life.
He was living his life.
You were living your life.
Fashion designer
And
life.
I was, 1984, I made $5 million, on my tax return. I mean, just like
That's
I
insane.
barely had my green card. I barely spoke English, and I was just like, and I
Out
felt-
here.
But you felt like it was easy. Like,
Yeah.
so easy, it's going to continue forever. So I started riding Harleys, and I started mingling with all the rock stars and Motley Crue and Poison and this and that and Billy Idol. And I started riding Harleys, and of course, I just like the egomaniac that I am. I wanted to make sure I had the right clothes on it.
Right,
So
of course,
I
of
started
course.
going to stores. I couldn't find anything I liked. I mean, there was a couple of good brands, but never could find the jacket I want. So I started making my own jacket. And I didn't know how to make jackets. So we did everything by hand. We cut with scissors, the little logos. We glued them by hand. We stitched them. Not me physically, but like the whole team. We used to do it. And I would make like some real crazy jackets. So I started wearing them on my Harley. I had my Harley matching with my jackets and the fringes and this and that and that. And people start going crazy for the jackets. They want to make me a jacket. I don't know how to make a jacket.
Right.
So I started giving like crazy prices because I knew I didn't know how to produce. So I was hoping they would.
So you gave the crazy price
Yeah.
to prohibit
be able
people
to-
from
yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
but
That's
that
right.
enticed people to come.
But in a way, that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
It's enticing people wanted to do it. And as
about
we
that?
start going in and I start producing it, you know, and one guy came to me and he said, you know, I love your jacket. I'm such a big fan. Bam, bam. I want you to do a jacket for the owner of the Giants, the New York Giants. I said, okay.
Okay.
If you look at that jacket today, I mean, probably a piece of crap compared
Wow.
to my work.
Yeah.
I used to use pig skin, like
Yeah.
bear skin, like bad quality.
Yeah.
But the
But
jacket
back
was
then,
colorful.
80, yeah.
It was like 1987, 1980. It was all colorful.
Right.
I made the jacket reversible. I put the logos in leather, all cut out. Because I didn't know about embroideries, and I just used to make them in leather. I used to cut the leathers and all the logos. It was easy for me to do it than to actually do embroidery. And basically, that's how I started developing the whole idea of cutting the leather and making, you know, of course, it evolved to art pieces, to
Sure.
different things that,
Yeah.
that I've been doing since. And the guy went crazy with the jacket. And the next day, I got a call from the NFL and said, you know, we saw what you're doing. You know, it's just crazy. You
Right.
know, we'd love to give you a license. No minimum, no guarantee.
We love to give you a license.
Yeah, that
give
doesn't
it-
happen
We
now.
want to give you a license.
How about that, NFL?
no minimum, no guarantees. I said, you know, realistically, I mean, you know,
Wow.
I mean, the jacket was $500 wholesale. I said, who's going to buy 500? At the
Right.
time, there was only Kmart and Walmart,
Yeah,
Target,
this is mid-'80s? Yeah, man.
J.C. Penney. That's the only thing that basic, and they had nothing but a T-shirt with a logo slapped on it, and that's it. There was no
Sure,
merch, and
sure.
there was no caps and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? Why not? You know, I think it's going to. Once I finish gas, I said that's going to look good. You know, on my business card
Right.
to put the NFL logo on it, like
course.
an official
Absolutely.
licensee, you know, but in reality, there's 1,500 players. You know, they make good money. So
Yeah.
let's assume I sell 100 jackets a year. That's 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing wrong. But at least I became a sports fan, and more of
Right.
an NBA fan than an NFL fan. But still, that would be a good thing. And basically, that took over. And then 2 months later, the NBA called me and said, "We want you to do the same thing you do in the NFL."
Now I want you to stop right here. I want to shout out Cliff Livingston and Reggie Theus. And this is why.
Right.
Not in that order.
No, not in that order. But I want to shout them out because when I first started doing my clothing in 2001, there were so many athletes that I would deal with, but if they were the guy that I was dressing, they would not take me and share me with the guys in their locker room. They wouldn't spread the word about me. So I had to stay with that one guy. The reason why I say Reggie Theus and Cliff Livingston, because they were like, Jeff, you're making something dope. Because I've done my research on you. Let me introduce you to more people.
That's right.
You're so true about that. And
Very true.
Nobody has ever picked up.
Very
that.
rare to do that.
You know,
Yeah.
in the 80s, everybody loved to share everything. You know, Magic introduced me to Michael. I mean, there was no you make it for me.
That's
and nobody-
amazing, bro.
I just want to be. I want to be the only one that has it. No, there was no jealousy. There was
times
not such
changed,
thing like
yeah.
that. They were competing on the court, but they were not. So Reggie Theus was the first one. I mean, really, the Raiders were the first one that came. I started doing stuff for them. You know, like the Marcus Allen and all those guys, Howie Long, and all during that era.
So wait, so they came or Al Davis came? The players came first?
Players came.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Players came first, and obviously, I mean, I still have had a relationship with Al, and obviously with Mark. I was with him last week in Las Vegas, in the suite, which was amazing. And it's just like pure love. There's no really friends for like 40 years. So, and basically Magic shared with everybody. And Reggie was actually the first one because his wife was a friend of mine. Right. She became a friend of mine because like on Elaine used to come because I was on gas jeans, but I didn't. At first year, I was not making a lot of money.
Right.
I was hustling. On Saturday morning, I would go at the basement of the California Mart, and I would sell all my damages.
How about that?
And people were online to do it, and that's how I met Elaine, our mom.
Wow.
And then she used to buy like
The hustle.
You know, like the jean was like, let's say, $30 or $40 wholesale. There they were $20 because they had. I had 15% of damages on it because we didn't know how to produce. So when you dealt with leather and you dealt with stonewash, it's the techniques and the laundries when we were developing all those techniques of washing
In real time.
In real time.
in real time.
Real
Like,
time.
I didn't know how to cut leather when I used to do the leather. I mean, obviously, you know how leather cuts. It's cut piece by piece or with machine
Yeah.
or whatever. At the time, I used to cut the leather with a knife.
Wow.
Like you cut like a pad of fabric. And there was like 60% of wastage. But it didn't matter.
It didn't matter then. No.
We took the good stuff and made with whatever we had to do.
Right.
And so that's kind of so she introduced me to Reggie, and I started making some stuff with him when they were still in Kansas City, Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Then they moved to Sacramento, and then obviously the whole team of Sacramento came.
That's
to me.
right. That's right.
And then from Sacramento, one of the guys came with the Clippers. So the Clippers, they brought me all the Clippers guy, and they were
That is
with the Clippers. And one, of course, and Magic, and then Michael called me on the phone one day and said, "What to make them do?" Of course, I knew who Michael was.
You
Right.
can't skip over that though,
Nobody-
Jeff.
You can't
Jeff,
skip
Jeff,
over
You
him.
can't skip over that. Michael Jordan calls you on the phone. Are you like, get out of here? This isn't Michael.
At the time, it was not even there. You know, I mean, I had seen him in 1984, 1986 when I got the first call. In 1987, I got the call. And at the time we had receptionists.
Right.
We even had regular phone with the bank. Now we all have cell phone.
Of course.
But she said, this guy Michael Jordan wants to talk to you. I said, really?
Yeah. Like, okay. Like you knew who he was. Yeah.
He said, "Hi, Jeffrey." Yeah, he's the only one who called me Jeffrey for some reason. Oh, up to today because his real name. His
This
name
is Michael
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
as well.
Jordan. That's right.
Yeah, so he's called me Jeffrey everywhere. And and Magic gave me a number, just want to do some stuff, and that's how we build up a relationship and friendship. And then we start breaking it. Like in '91 was really actually talking about Cliff Livingston. He was the first one who had the championship jacket in the locker room in '91. So I love Cliff Livingston.
That is amazing. And it wasn't just people in the sports world, because you did, Kobe, which is in the sports world, and Shaq, and I mean, so many people. But like, you're touching like world leaders.
Oh, no,
You're touching Nelson Mandela, Muhammad Ali. Like, how do all of these people find out about you?
And what do you do for them?
But it's like a lot of people come to me, and a lot of young designers, or they might be making bags. They say, "Oh, can you please help me? What do I need to do to meet celebrities?" I say, there's not a book. I am amazed. Even my close friends, they come with me. I travel the world. I'm at F1 and I'm this and I'm that. I'm like at Boswell. I'm at DJ Khaled party, but I know everybody. I have no idea how, and don't tell me how I met them or what.
Right.
There's a story, but organically things
They happen.
happen. And but for me, I realized that there was a part in the industry that was missing, and I truly realized that I was not in a schmata business. I was not in a clothing business.
Right. No doubt about it.
I was in something a little bit different, in a niche market, like even more so as the company evolved. That when people start telling me I own 3 pieces of I own 3 of your pieces, they won't come and say I own 3 of your jackets. I said, why do they tell me 3 pieces, not 3 jackets? And how do you use the word pieces for? Pieces for art.
How about
So
that?
kind of like saying then I try to play the part of me positioning myself as an artist more than a designer.
Right.
And I started signing the jacket for them to
How
feel
about
like
that?
there is a DNA that's attached. My DNA is directly to that.
Right.
And but things evolve. I was last night with Damon Wayans and no, it was Marlon Wayans last night. I was Marlon Wayans, but in living color. I mean, I didn't know when the show came out, but the stylist called me and said we want to do jacket for SW1 for Sean, and then every single Sunday night I was waiting for that show. one of the greatest show of all time.
That's so wild.
And they were like, they were wearing all my jackets. And then Jim Carrey and
You forgot one. You forgot one. You forgot
No, I
one.
didn't forget it. It came after that. You talking about Martin?
This is why I fuck with you, bro. Martin,
Came in 1993.
the original jacket that he had on the first season.
Let me tell you something.
He made that jacket.
I got to say something.
No, throughout the whole show.
That was the whole show.
Throughout the whole
Incredible,
show. And
bro.
The opening credit was always the Martin. Yeah. So last year we did 30th anniversary, and we did 30th anniversary. We did
Incredible,
only 30
bro.
jackets. Yeah. So all those things, and but again, but you're thinking about Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash.
Right.
We still were dealing with that stuff. We still
Right.
we ran DMC. We still ran even with the. I have stories with when Didi and Puffy called me to go to Brooklyn at 11:30 at night in New York, and my friend said, "No, you're not going. You're
Right.
gonna get killed."
That's right.
And I didn't do it, and that was one of the biggest regrets because I never got to meet Biggie. And actually, I was telling a story to Fats Evans. She was here like a week ago, and I was
Wow.
telling her the story, and I said that was my biggest regret because so we ended up going to a club instead.
Wow.
This,
So
this
go
I'm
ahead,
going to
go
cut
ahead.
you off, Wisdom. This is one of the most magical fashion journeys I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It's cool to do research on you, but to hear it, it's incredible. I mean, but you said something about people ask you, how do you do this? How do you do that? In terms of meeting folks, but a lot of it is just your years in the game. It's 40 years of experience. And organically, you've been able to kind of just move in a way that's unlike anything I've ever heard. And culturally, the names you're reading off are just, it's
I mean, the names are just so iconic.
Come on, man.
Because it's literally the Martin jacket specifically.
Right.
My brother CaliiVision can bring this in. I mean, come on, man.
How about that?
And like you still have this, and just such an interesting archive of, your art. Muhammad Ali's jacket. The first piece that you created, do you still own that piece? Do you still have like the original DNA pieces
I
from?
have some of the original ones, yeah. Interesting enough, a lot of my vintage jackets they spread all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people reach out to me because they either want me to sign them, either they want to share with me. And through Instagram, everybody basically shares all the things. And I get about 600 DMs a day.
Wow.
And I answer every one of them. I don't care whether it's an emoji or something, but I answer it.
Yeah.
And so the idea was I've been basically buying back a lot of my old vintage pieces.
Good.
And some of the pieces I know I'm the only one who knows that I made only one or two of those.
Right.
And some people, some of them are more. So what I do is I not necessarily buy them, but I basically trade them for some of the more current stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like want to build up more of a library, just like my own
Like an archive.
personal museum, that I want to have just for myself. And hopefully maybe when we go to an NBA con or something like that at some point in time, maybe display that and just kind of go through the history of all the evolution of the jackets. And obviously during that time there was a time of our dear friend Carl Jones and TJ with great cross collars. I designed all the jackets for them as well. At the time when we did cross collars, so they created their own. They were
Your
amazing.
DNA, bro.
And so we were involved in that. So we had that whole feeling of, remember when there was that time. So we wanted like all the real Jamaican colors and African with the map of Africa in the back. So that was kind of inspired by that. And and that's like I remember the girl that came and picked up the jacket. Her name, you might probably know who she is. Michelle Cole, and she's a stylist, and she came pick up the jacket and put it on the cover on Martin. Martin happened to be the greatest show also.
Oh, one of the best of
right
all
back
time.
to back with In Living Color.
How about that?
But I think that's why a lot of designers and people who are interested in the business come to you because, like my partner just said here, your ascent. It's like, how do these things happen? How do you find yourself in? Because like I've had iconic moments, like dressing, Colin Kaepernick on the cover of GQ, or dressing LeBron James or the Thompson twins. But like you have 40 years of just like.
It's like Forrest Gump.
Exactly. Exactly.
And where's Waldo? Because you can look in every single picture in history. You find me somewhere in a corner somewhere.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, like I said, there's no plan to it. It's just keep on pushing the passion and understanding that this is my lane. My lane is I want my integrity to show that I am in the culture. Yeah. And if somebody comes in and say, I want to buy 10,000 jackets like that, and want to sell to Walmart, and no disrespect to Walmart, and no disrespect to that, this is not my, you don't come to me for
That's
that.
not my lane.
Me,
That's not my right.
I'll get more excited selling one single jacket to LeBron or to whoever, just like, rather than to sell 5,000 jackets to somebody else. Because for me, it's just a moment. It's just the moment that
The
of me,
moment.
and allow me to kind of stretch out. All I want to do is stretch out my creativity and stretch out and try to be as go into spaces I've never been before in within our world. I mean, a jacket is a jacket. It's like a body, a sleeve, but how can we make it better? And for me, why jackets versus the rest, and why I consider it so much more? And I'm doing a lot of lifestyle stuff. I'm doing a whole lifestyle brand. I'm doing a jean brand. I'm doing shoes. I'm doing a bunch, but I'm doing that for all over the world. But the jackets for me, to get back to the point that we had earlier, that I try to position myself more as an artist than a designer is, instead of painting on a canvas, the jacket became a canvas.
Right.
And that's how I'm able to express myself, with whatever stories might be. Whether it's a corporation that has an insurance company, they want to get a jacket done and they want to have the logo on it, I'm just going to make sure that it's just going to capture what they feel to it.
Right.
And because the ultimate result is I wanted to make sure that when somebody puts that jacket on, they get that feeling that you have you're elevated, you feel special.
This is one of my, I've made it.
When I spoke to the producer of the show and he said, who can you bring on to the table? I said,
Shit, everybody.
who do you want?
I can bring everybody.
Who do you want?
I'll get Michael, I get LeBron, I get
they'll all
DJ
come.
Khaled,
Sure.
I get Mike Tyson, I get who else would you want?
Who do you need?
You want Shaq, you want
Oh my
Travis
God,
Scott,
bro.
You want Drake,
I love it.
Everyone.
I mean, of course, I want to have my friends. I want to have Cedric and people like that. I want to do Dice Clay. I mean, because Dice Clay was a big part of my success.
Yeah, he was.
New Kids on the Block. I mean, like at the time. I mean, I blew up with New Kids on the Block. Because I was just doing all the jackets for them and like all the. So it's kind of like varied from that to. I mean, I was in a studio with Guns N' Roses when they were recording.
Come on.
And I was, so you had Guns N' Roses, you had the rock and roll, then you had the hip hop, then you had, like all of those great moments and I was in Don King's home in Las Vegas, and in the garage they turned into a gym for Mike Tyson. It was 120, 130 degrees in that garage, and with a heater on, and he was like wearing plastic bags, and he was like training, and it was just like those are moments. And he was like 22 years old, 21 years old at the time.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Were there any clients that you made jackets for that you were like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm here with this opportunity? Or were they all at a certain point, do you just get to a point where you're just like, this is just another client?
It's exactly the opposite. I still have like butterflies with every single client that I make with. Wow. So I'm, one of the things that I always tell people is I'm still the 3-year-old kid that walks into Disneyland for the first time and sees Mickey Mouse. So I don't care that I met Michael 100 times. My heart blows out of my chest. I love, and then those guys, I have their cell number. It's not like I could be with Mike Tyson still. I feel like I'm like a little kid. I mean, they some of them are 20 years younger than me,
Right.
But I still have that, So I'm still shivering about that, for me to meet the presidents and to be around them and the presence of those people. And even, maybe at the beginning with LeBron and Kobe, I didn't have those feelings because they were 17-year-old kids.
They were kids, right?
And then as they grew up and, the more they are, the more their aura is, it expands. And when you around their presence, you feel like, you surrounded with greatness, and those are the things that I still appreciate, that I'm still very aware of it. And when there is a young rapper or young basketball player that comes in and wants me to make something custom for him, I still feel the feeling of it. It's just like, yes. 2 days ago, I was with a Latin guy. Like, he was born in Cuba, but he's part of that whole new movement of. Not the reggaeton, but the corridos tumbados, like Peso Pluma and GH and stuff like that.
course.
His name is OVI. And Ovi. And it's just like, the guy's 26 years old. I mean, like, I'm 68. And the guy's like so in awe of my work. I mean, which I myself am in awe of it because he had that charisma that he's 26 years old and he's making millions of dollars, like all dripping out in jewelry and something. But you know, you can feel the how genuine he is and how amazing he is. And he's just putting me in his video. So for me, I want to be in the video.
Absolutely.
I love when
No, that's
Carl
cool,
mentioned
man.
my name in the song.
That's
I
cool.
love when West Side Gun mentioned my name.
Yeah.
I hustle my way through that also.
This is
I mean, I'm in the background in some of the video with Dave East and Jim Jones, and and so it's like always, whichever way you can be in the culture. I mean, I was in the versus Dipset versus the Locks. I was on stage the whole time with with Vadin, you know.
I can't.
And you know, just like, you know, and DMX and all those. I mean, all those eras that we've done stuff for, and you know, I did not appreciate it as much over the years till I really just like started realizing it 3-4 years ago. And I have to tell you, Instagram has been a big part of it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's been
Because I've
huge.
been able to kind of like really go out and express myself in a way that before it was like only, you know it, you tell to somebody and that's it.
You know what? I have a little more of a statement than a question. And I always, you know, as you guys are both designers, I'm not. But the magic of being able to do a couple of things, which is obviously create your own lane, which is hard to do in fashion, really difficult to do because a lot of it's copycats. You create your own style. But it's equally as important to be able to have the longevity over periods of time that you could span generations. You know, you're 68, I'm 52. You're hanging with young teenagers that are hot in the game. And old school guys like us that are still doing their thing. That's hard to do. It mirrors some great music that's timeless. The best artists of all time, whether it's the Beatles or Michael or Prince, those guys can span time, but that's hard to do. So kudos to you to be able to do both those things.
The key to that, and thank you, but the key to that, there's no big secret. You don't get stuck into anything. You know, as corny as it may sound from a spiritual level, is you want to live in the moment.
Sure.
You know, there's regrets. I had a few, but yet again, too few to mention, right?
Sinatra. Sinatra. That's right.
So but you don't. You know, you live in the moment, and whatever happened, you know, as long as you know that we're simply a channel. That's all it is, like a big antenna, and God and the universe give us a blessing. And as long as you appreciate, because today we could be here, tomorrow we might not be here. So you live in the moment. I honestly, in my skin, I don't feel like older than 30 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm till 3 o'clock in the morning.
You look great, man.
In Art Basel in Miami, I move like I have to. But the key is, as long as you're relevant and you live in your time, you adjust with your time.
Sure.
And you don't get stuck in like, you know what? In 2000, you know, Iverson had he used to wear the durags. He used to wear the baggy jeans. I mean, you see some guys are still wearing the durags and the jeans because there was a time, a moment in time where they felt great at that moment, and they want to keep on living with it.
Yeah.
And some guys that have the long hair that they had in their earrings from 1980.
From the 80s.
They don't want to just change that.
Tommy Lee.
At all.
People want to get stuck in time. Evolve with your time. And you know, and I'm not saying, you know, I don't carry some of my old things that I like from, you know, obviously there is always a residue of the good times of your life and the way you want to do it, but you really don't want to live in the past, and as you don't want to live in the future. You don't want to just project anything, you know, oh, next year I'm going to do this and that. You know, no, I'm present. All I'm doing right now is just give me a beautiful field.
That's right.
Let me spread seeds. Let me create sparkles. That's all. I want to create sparkles. That's kind of a little bit pretentious, but I tell to my team, I say, all I want to do would be, in my dream in my life is I want to be a sparkle maker.
I like that.
I want to be a sparkle maker. I want my team to take the sparkle, create a fire.
Right.
And when the fire is like nice and built, let me come and dance around it.
Amen.
I like that. That's cool.
Because, you know, if you really plant the seeds the right way, and you plant the seeds when there is rain, and you need a combination of rain and sunshine, and you don't want to put a seed when there is an icy floor or when there's a rock on it. You kind of learn how to plant your seeds, and you plant the seeds, and the universe wants to reward you.
Amen.
Before you know it, you have a little twig. Before the tree
You got a
becomes
tree.
Yeah,
a chunk, the trunk
Right.
becomes a branch becomes a leaf, and before you know it,
You got a sequoia.
you get the fruit.
That's right.
So now, you might not be here to take a bite at that apple,
Right.
but that's what's called legacy.
That's right.
Right. Well,
Yes.
I have two questions for you. The last question is, what do you want your legacy to be? But before we get to that, what are 3 things that a person who's entering the fashion business should know? According to you, there's no wrong answer.
According to me, I mean, I see it very clear. First of all, there is something that the universe gave us, and when I say the universe is, I mean God. I believe I'm a believer, and I believe in the laws of the universe. So, one thing that we human beings have that nobody else has, the animal kingdom doesn't have, is we have free will.
Right.
So we can work as hard as we want, whenever we want. So you're never gonna get there's never gonna. Don't ever think that there is a shortcut. And shortcut means I'm not gonna go in. I'm just gonna find my way, and,
Yeah, man.
and I'm gonna hit the lottery, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be rich. Or I'm gonna sue somebody. I'm gonna make money easy.
Speak to that, yeah.
Without working too hard.
That's right.
You have to work hard.
That's necessary.
Number
Yeah.
2, you have to work smart. That
Right.
means you cannot. If I have to go from point A to point B, I can run, no doubt, and I can get there faster. But you know what? I just walk
Right.
slowly. Make sure there is no
glass on the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
ground,
Don't twist my
slip,
ankle.
and,
That's right.
and because no matter what, you're gonna get to the destination.
Exactly.
Number 3 is identify what your God-given talent is.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a designer, great. If you're a painter, it's a painter. If you're
Right.
if you're a director, this is where your passion is. Explore that. If it's taking a squeegee and going at cleaning windshield, but you're good at it and
Yeah.
you're passionate about doing it,
Turn it to a business.
that's
your thing.
that's your deal. So
Yeah.
those are the 3 things. If you accomplish the 3 things, you're gonna be okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, what people call luck, which I don't believe in the word luck, I call. You often see me saying the word blessing. The blessing is basically what covers all of it and puts the whole piece in together. So if you have those elements, you're definitely successful in life. So the other thing is never think that you are and that you deserve anything. So definitely no entitlement. No entitlement. Don't feel like you're entitled to do it. I designed that jacket. I should be bigger than this guy and this
Right.
because I designed that and that was making no entitlement. Whatever you did at the time is that. And
He's giving you 2 bonus ones. He gave you a 4th and about to give you
and
a
I get
5th.
a third one.
Go.
This is game.
and
Absolutely.
and no procrastination.
How about that?
Hey,
No
man.
procrastination.
Yeah.
If you have to do something, I don't care how late it is or whatever it is. Don't expect that the ideas or the work that you have, the opportunity that God gave you to do right now is going to be there tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it and just get it done.
That's fun. Yeah.
Like that's the same thing, not taking anything for granted. If you procrastinate, that means you believe that you're bigger than the universe. You assume that tomorrow morning
How about
you're going
that?
to be able to wake up to be
Yeah,
able to get
yeah.
that blessing.
Yeah. Doesn't work that
You
way.
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What does fashion mean to you?
Fashion?
Yeah.
Fashion is another way of is an art expression. Is a way of expressing myself through creativity and being able to do something. And it's just a language. That's all it is. For at the end of the day, fashion is a language. You want to dress up when you go to a place, and it's kind of like this is
I
my
feel it.
message. I want to give you my message. You
Yeah.
know?
I like that.
No.
Last question for me. What do you want your legacy to be?
I don't think about it. I really don't think about my legacy. I just want it to be. I want people to know that I was truly passionate about what I did. That I had a lot of great time doing the things that I had, and I've had a lot of bad times also in my life. So, but I just really just want to continue doing the work, and people remember that at least my family or my grandkids to look at me and say, we're proud of what our granddad did, you know.
Amen.
No, that's awesome.
John.
You know, in closing, just thank you for your time. We appreciate you having us in your lair.
Absolutely.
But you know, when we have these conversations, we want it to be just that. They're not interviews, they're conversations. And we always want to have the kind of discussions that can evoke some type of wisdom to share with the folks that are listening. So thanks for the nuggets, the jewels, the stories. Next level. God bless you.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So I say this at the end of every episode. Always be kind to yourself because you're always listening. It's been another episode of Den of Thinking Men, shot by CaliiVision, powered by us.
Us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamilton.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Thank you.